Hello and welcome back to another episode of She's the Boss. Over the past couple of weeks, I've been sharing interviews and discussions with women in business and women who have senior positions in their careers with the aim of inspiring, motivating, empowering, informing, educating all of you that are sitting at home watching who maybe are scared to take the next step in starting a business or going for that promotion. Today, I am joined by a lady who wears many, many hats, so I'm not going to try and remember each one. Becky Shand, thank you so much for joining us. You tell us all of the hats that you're wearing.
Okay, hi everyone. Well, the first hat actually is that I'm a new mummy. So that is my first hat and that is my most important hat at the moment, as well as being a wife as well. But yes, in terms of my businesses, I am a personal brand alignment coach. So I help people to stand out online, being authentically them. So people that are the face of their business, I work with them on their social media and their website, and just basically to be aligned online with their brands. I also own my own Arbonne Health and Wellness business, which is an online business. And I also run a women's networking initiative called the Bloom Collective. So these are kind of like the three main things that I'm working on at the moment.
So you like to keep busy, clearly. That's a lot. And how do you, I'm just going to start right at the beginning and ask what everybody's probably thinking. You're a new mother. How do you fit it all in?
Not with ease. I think sometimes you have different weeks, don't you? Like where something will take a bit more priority and other things might kind of, be in the background. So this last week, just gone, Olivia wasn't very well. It's my daughter. So she was my priority more so in terms of my time that week. So, the other businesses, I wasn't really doing much on them. But other weeks, if I've got some new clients with my coaching, then that will kind of take a bit more priority. But the cool thing is that all of these things are quite interlinked. So my online Arbonne business, it kind of like can tick over as well because it's online, so it's something that I can do, I don't have to always be present for, whereas with my coaching it's more one-to-one, so we have that kind of FaceTime and cool kind of relationship. And then with the women's networking initiative, that's something that I do for myself as well. We recently launched, we had our first meetup for mums in business. So this is obviously something that I was able to go to as a mum in business and, receive a lot of inspiration myself from the other women that were there. So yeah, I seem to have kind of like worked it out so that these different things that I'm working on and doing, they all are an expression of things that I'm passionate about. So yeah, it kind of comes easy in that I don't see it as like work. It's all stuff that I'm genuinely passionate about, working with people, and I really feel like I am using my skills and stuff. But yeah, fitting it all in around being a new mummy, I guess, since going on maternity leave, actually, you kind of realise the time that you have is so precious.
Yes.
And because you're at home a lot with this new baby, in the early stages, although you kind of are busy with a lot of stuff, there is a lot of time where you're like feeding and kind of sitting around with your baby, and it does give you a lot of time to think, and you start thinking, okay, like, what do I actually want to do? What do I actually want to do with my time and my energy? What, do I want to go back to the work that I was doing before? And I kind of had that moment, and I've sort of been really trying to run with these new businesses and new ideas alongside my daughter, because I want to create that lifestyle that works around her. So it's interlinked in that she's my inspiration as well, and she motivates me, and I'm quite happy to have those moments where I'm just like, everything's turned off, this is just me and my daughter's time, and I don't need to necessarily always be working, but I'm more kind of in control of that balance. And it's not always easy, because when you're self-employed, there's demands and stuff, but I do try and have that balance where it's family time as well. I've answered a whole heap of questions in one.
You're trying to take my questions away, but it's fine. In answering some questions, you led me to think of other questions. Right?
Okay, that's good then.
So I know that you started one of your coaching business, I believe, after you'd had your daughter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Bloom Collective was whilst you were pregnant.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What I'm going to then assume, obviously, and you kind of did say that your daughter had a very influential role to play in the decisions that you've made. But how difficult was it to go from, okay, you wasn't single because you was married, but I'm a working woman,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm single in the sense that I don't have any children dependent, to I'm a mother and now I have these businesses and I'm not going to work anymore. Like how, because becoming a mother is a huge change anyway, as it is.
Yeah.
But also starting a business is a huge change, and you did those at the same time. How did you manage, like, how did you deal with that, like, mentally, emotionally?
Yeah. Whoa. How did I deal with it? It's been a process. I suppose the change, it's been a lot of changes all at once, but it's been really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just kind of been feeling like, you only live once and don't want to waste time doing things that I'm not passionate about. And, our daughter was a wonderful surprise. So in a way, I was kind of thrust into all of this,
Mm-hmm.
but it made me realize the value of what I have with her, because before then I might have been just focused on kind of climbing the corporate ladder and that was it. But having my daughter, it kind of changed my perspective a bit. And I guess with that being like a big change in my life, it felt like a good moment to also make other changes.
Mm-hmm.
Having that break away from work. And the funny thing was as well that, call it fate or, God working in mysterious ways, but I actually was made redundant
Mm-hmm.
actually when I came to the end of my maternity leave.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just as well that I'd actually set up these other businesses to kind of fall back on. And, it doesn't mean that, it's easy, the pressure's on, but I just feel excited.
Well, it's interesting because a lot of people will say, oh, I don't want to start a business because I need regular income. And actually, I'm going on maternity leave. It's this big countdown of when am I going to go back to work and get this regular income. But as you said, you were made redundant. So even a job that can seem relatively secure, there's risks with that as well. And I think that's it's really important to note that actually work is not guaranteed, whether you're employed or you're self-employed.
So true, yeah, because a lot of the time we do feel like, okay, I'm just going to get a secure job, and it is all about that feeling secure and not, we make decisions sometimes based on fear, don't we? Like, I don't want to be without this. I don't want to not be able to pay the mortgage. I don't want to be short, so I can't do X, Y, Z. And then we never stop to think about things that we actually dream of because we're so scared of what might happen, if we don't. So I can't remember where I was going with that.
Right. A good lead in. What were you scared of? So you made the decision, okay, well, I'm going to do this. Then you find out you made redundant. So now I definitely have to do this.
Yeah.
What fears did you have?
Well, the fear is always there. Like, oh my goodness, am I going to have a client next month? Am I going to make enough? Or, you deal with doubts in yourself on a daily basis. And I suppose you do deal with doubts like in your job as well. Like if you've got like a 9 to 5 or in an office based type of job. But when you're self-employed and you have your own business, you have to pick yourself up, because if you're not, believing in yourself, kind of nobody else is gonna believe in you, because you are the brand, you are the business. So you kind of have to just pick yourself up and just go with it. Yeah.
So there wasn't one thing other than, like, so it was a collective as opposed to oh my gosh, I'm going to be poor, or oh my gosh, it doesn't work. It was more the idea of trying to get clients and believing.
Yeah, I think obviously because I'm married, me and my husband, it's our joint income as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, there's his coming in as well. So I think, you know, if it was just me, there would be that more risk involved.
Yeah.
But I think the kind of excitement of setting up my own business was just kind of overrides the fear. But apart from, like, sometimes you do wake up and you just feel like, am I good enough? Or should I really be doing this? Should I just go and get a safe job? You know, and there is that conflict, you know, I'm not going to lie, there is that conflict sometimes. But then you have like an amazing, you know, one-to-one with a client where they're like, oh my goodness, this is, you know, this is great. I didn't know I could do this with my brand, or thank you so much for helping me, you know, by joining me in the business opportunity. These moments make you think, okay, yeah, this is worth it. We're going in the right direction. So I think it's kind of mind over matter, really.
Mm-hmm. And how important do you think it is to have a supportive partner, husband, to kind of be in your corner and cheerleading?
Oh, it's so it's so important.
Mm-hmm.
It's so important. I mean, the funny thing is, I had this conversation with my husband last night, actually. I said to him, are you okay with me, you know, doing this business? Like, how? And I was being really vulnerable by asking him. Like, I literally wanted to know what was in his mind, because sometimes you can kind of just go and not really ask what they're thinking. I was like, are you okay with me, you know, taking this risk and doing these businesses, or do you want me to, you know, just get a normal job and go back to what I was doing? And he said, like, he loves the fact that I'm doing something that I love, and seeing me flourish, you know, in with what I do and my skills and stuff. And he said, yeah, I do worry sometimes, but we both are Christians, born again Christians, and we both feel in our hearts that we're here for a reason, we have a purpose, and I support him with his dreams and he supports me with my dreams. Mm-hmm. And, you know, he's taking risks as well, like with what he's doing with his events and his music. And I'm just choosing to have like faith in him, and he's doing the same with me. And it absolutely is important. Like, if you had somebody who was doubting you, and I'm not saying you won't have any doubts, but if they were constantly bringing you down, it would be very hard to kind of like go against that. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So yeah, it's really important to have that support.
And I guess in having that support, it makes you feel more confident in what you're doing. And I guess that can only ever be a good thing. So yeah. The process of starting, if we deal with your branding, online branding stuff, personal branding, where did your passion for that come from?
Ooh, so I mean, I've always been into like imagery, so whether that was art and design or photography, magazines, things like that. I've always been into that from a young age. But when I went to university, my dissertation was actually on the branding of music artists, mm-hmm. because I was really intrigued. I mean, I've got a passion for music as well, but I was intrigued how music artists were branded to portray a certain culture or a personality type, or you know, certain messages that they would portray through the things that they wore, the things they said, their photos, album covers, you know, social media, all of that, and how certain people would be attracted to those music artists because of how they looked and how they came across. It just intrigued me, so I did my dissertation on that topic, and the link between like how people choose what music to listen to based on what the brand is of the music artist. Mm-hmm. And then I always thought, okay, I'm going to go into the branding of music artists and bands and things. But then I realized that my passion for branding and marketing, it was actually that I was passionate about working with people as opposed to like products and mm-hmm. product brands. So yeah, I think I just kind of went down that route of branding people, whether they're, you know, artists or authors, business women, bloggers, these kind of creative type of industries as well as business. And I'm just really passionate about working with people. I'm a very sociable person, so yeah.
And what was the first, when you were kind of thinking and deciding the business that you were going to do, obviously you wanted to do something you're passionate about, what were the key kind of goals and dreams that you hoped to achieve, and are you going in the direction of those goals and dreams?
Yeah, I think key goals and dreams. Obviously, like, you have goals and dreams of what you'd be able to earn so that you can have a type of lifestyle. I mean, I would love to be able to travel more. And obviously having your own online business means that you've got that flexibility. You don't always have to be in one place. So I'm definitely working towards that. But also working with certain types of people. I would still love to work with, you know, music artists, as well as other creative people. And yeah, I haven't reached that yet, but, you know, I'm just going to keep growing the business and doing a good job for my clients. I'm very passionate about bringing excellence, and that is something that I'm really trying to deliver for all of my clients at the moment. So definitely going in that direction. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I know something, and this is a question that I've tried to ask quite a few of the people that I speak with. When somebody has decided, okay, I'm ready, I'm going to start a business, one of the key things that can concern them or they're worried about or don't know how to do is securing that first client, or even the first 10 clients. What was the strategy that you took to secure those first clients?
Okay, well, one of the things that I did was I just started moving. I just started talking to people. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, sometimes we get things so twisted, like, and we make things so complicated with all like Facebook advertising and, you know, Instagram advertising and all of this. And there is a place for that. But ultimately, we need to actually have conversations with people, because people are the ones that are going to talk to other people and recommend you. And also they might think about your services for themselves. So I just went back to basics. Like, I, you know, did market research where I met up with different women that were ideal clients, just to get that conversation going, to understand how I might be able to help them. And in doing that, it also opened up opportunities for them to actually ask more questions about what it was I was doing, and to see whether it's something, you know, that they did actually want to take up with me. And then telling family and friends about what I'm doing. I text like a bunch of like my family and friends, just saying, hey, you know, check out my website, and it had like what I do on there, and some people were like, oh, that's really cool, and I know somebody who might be able to help you. So just talking and getting out there what you do, that's what I did. And I secured my first client off the back of actually offering free social media advice. So it was a lady that she did some market research. I did market research with her. And then also I said, you know, I'd love to give you some advice on your social media, like, should we have a call? And she was like, oh, that's kind of you. So I did that just because I could see like ways that she could just kind of like align things and improve things. And I think from doing that, she kind of realized, oh, this girl knows what she's talking about. Maybe I'll take her up on her program. And she did. So that was my first client.
And what did that feel like?
Oh my gosh. I was like, oh, thank you, Lord. I was like, this is real. Like, do I actually have my own business now because I've actually got a client? Wow. This is, because you still like, I still kind of don't feel like it's real because, you know, it's still growing. But I have to remind myself, no, but like, I've got clients. Like, so I am actually running this business now. And you kind of think, okay, when's it going to stop? And I'm going to go back to what I was doing. But no, this is it. And yeah, it felt amazing. Yeah. And
for the kind of more behind the scenes stuff, again, a question that I get often asked by some of my clients is, okay, so I know what I want to do, and I know that I need to go out and find a client, but when I get the client, how do I know what paperwork to give them? How do I structure my emails? How do I look professional? That's something that a lot of people kind of find challenging. did you draw on your experience of working more in the corporate world in order to make sure that all of your administrative stuff was professional looking?
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the job that I had been doing before, you know, countless emails and documents and PDF designs and all these type of things that I'd been doing regularly. And it's funny because when I started the business, I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, how do I create a PDF document that's going to look nice? And I was like, hang on a minute, I've done this before. It just went out of my head that I'd actually got the skills. So you totally have to just pull on the skills that you already have developed. And you do need to look professional, but it doesn't have to be complicated. People overcomplicate stuff. Like, all I did was I got my name, I just wrote my name in like a handwriting font that I got from 1000fonts.com. And I used PowerPoint. I didn't even get a designer to do like my logo. I literally downloaded this font, put it in PowerPoint, typed my name, saved it as a JPEG, and that was my logo done. You know, sometimes we think, oh my goodness, I can't afford this designer and all this stuff, but just keep it really simple. Choose your brand colors, get a logo, and you know, even if you haven't got like a photo shoot, like literally, I was panicking thinking I don't even have like photos of myself, but I said to my husband, like, right, let's just book a date in the diary. We're gonna go to Knoll for a day, not even for a day, for 2 hours.
Knoll is in, for those who may not know where Knoll is, where's Knoll?
In Solihull. So it's like, you know, we've got friends there and stuff like that. We love it there. I just thought, let's go to a coffee shop and let's just take some photos. So I left Olivia with my mum, made sure she was fed, left her there for a couple of hours, and we were just like, go, just snapping away, just having a little bit of fun. And those are the images that I'm now using for my brand for like this kind of month or two. And it literally took 2 hours to do, and it was a lot of fun. So I just think we do overcomplicate it and think we have to spend like loads of money. And I'm not saying like you can't have like professionals do different things. I think there is a place for that. But when you're starting out, and you haven't got a big budget, you just have to get moving, and you can't let money stop you. You just have to say, okay, what have I got in my hands? What can I do? And just go with that. Don't wait for things to be perfect, because you'll build up to what you see, you know, when you see other people doing their stuff. Just start with what you have.
And speaking of other people, who are some of the kind of women in business or men that you kind of look up to and admire, and why?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the lady that has been like super helpful in helping me set myself up in this business is Beth G. Harper. So she's the one that she runs the Startup Society, which is like really good for like women wanting to start their businesses. And yeah, I really look up to her because she's just like really skilled at what she does. She's very caring about seeing other women succeed in their businesses as well. So she's definitely one person. Somebody who has kind of been a mentor over the past few years for me in kind of directing me to think about my longer plan and purpose for my life, as opposed to just how I'm going to make money. This lady is Julia Regis. She goes to my church, and she's just been really helpful as well, like just kind of through conversations and phone calls and stuff. And then also another lady called Karen Vanderpoel. She's my Arbonne upline, and she's just like one of the most inspiring women out there. She's just amazing, like at helping me with my online beauty business and to build my team as well. She's always on the end of like a phone call or a voice note on WhatsApp, and always encouraging me to kind of like keep going. So I think it's really important to have people around you that encourage you, and have women that have gone further and are, you know, just a few steps or more ahead of you, just to kind of say like keep going, and we could all learn from other people. We don't need to do this alone. So yeah,
you just took my next question. I was going to say, how important do you think it is to have a team of strong women around you cheerleading? But preempting me, it's fine. And I guess in terms of advice, and I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but advice to other young women, new mothers who are thinking of starting a business and are feeling kind of afraid, what 3 pieces of advice would you give to them?
Okay, well, I've wrote down some notes, so I remember what I'm saying. So the first thing I've wrote down is that your mind will play tricks on you, and this is something that I've learned more recently, because when you have, when you're like really inspired by something, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna do that, and it's gonna work, and it's gonna be amazing, and wow, why didn't I think of this before? And you're all motivated, go go go, one day. And then the next day you wake up and you're like, oh, it's not going to work. Oh, I'm not even skilled enough, or I'm not good enough, or nobody's going to be bothered about it. And suddenly, like, you're all deflated. I was like, nothing's changed about the idea. Like, I was excited about it yesterday. So the only thing that's changed is my mind. And, my mind has just thrown doubts out and fear. So I think my first piece of advice is you need to override negative thoughts with positive ones, and that you have to choose between having faith having fear or having faith. And that's something that we have to do for ourselves. So that's my first piece of advice. Second piece of advice is stay in your lane. So, often we can, with social media and everything online, there's so much that we can see of what other people are doing in their businesses or in their lives, and we can start thinking, oh, I need to be more like that person, or maybe I should change to be more like this person because it seems to be working for her. But in actual fact, sometimes we need to put our blinkers on and just stay in our lane and just get the inspiration from within ourselves, because it is actually there. And when we stop to like turn off the computer, put our phones down, and like literally just get a blank sheet of paper and a pen and actually write down things and start thinking. Like, our minds are so powerful, and we often don't give ourselves enough space to just think and create. And when we do that, we begin to create something that is more unique and that other people can't copy because it's come from within ourselves. So we need to believe in ourselves and stay in our own lane, and remember that there's only one of you, and you are your own brand anyway, because there's no other you in the world. So that's going to make you unique. That is your USP, is you and how you do things. And the third piece of advice is that it is important to invest in ourselves, because we don't need to do everything alone. Like, if you're getting stressed or you feel overwhelmed, like, get some coaching, get a mentor or some sort of advice, or get a PA to do little bits and bobs that you can't really do yourself. Definitely invest in yourself, and also invest in yourself in a way that you do things for yourself to make yourself feel in a good place as well. Like, sometimes we can have this mentality of just work, because you're working for yourself. I can't, every waking moment I've got to get and do, because I need to put, I need to make money. But then if we don't stop and actually fill our tanks with things that we enjoy, things that make us feel good about ourselves, going for a walk, or spending time with the family, reading a book, even watching a bit of trash TV if you need to, just whatever it is, we need to invest in ourselves, fill our tanks, because that is what is going to keep us going in our business when we have those down days. And also, it's going to generate that positive energy from within, which is what is actually going to attract people to you, to work with you, because ultimately people want to work with you as a person. And if you're in a kind of like a get fear mentality, nobody's going to want to work with you, because they're going to feel that vibe. So and I'm speaking to myself, like, I don't always have time to do all these things, but I do try and like just sit down for a second and listen to some music and just shut off. And that's maybe my thing that I like to do, and everybody's thing is different. and just get out the house. Oh yeah, another thing that I've wrote down is, you know, sometimes in our office space or wherever it is that we do our work, you know, create the environment that you really love to be in. Buy some plants and put them up in the office, and pretty flowers and fairy lights, or, you know, have photos around. I think it's really important to just kind of like make your workspace as pretty and enjoyable as you can. So yeah, that's my advice to
Everybody
new.
always cheats. Like, I've got 3. Well, actually, it's 3 and 1 extra one. And in each one, I'm going to do an extra. But no, that was fantastic advice. And obviously, if there is anybody looking for personal branding coaching, we have one here. And if anyone's looking for startup or business growth coaching, we have one here. Shameless bit of self-promotion. Normally I end here, but there's another question that I wanted to ask that I don't think I've covered in any of the other interviews, and I think it's quite important. How important is your Christian faith in propelling you into business and in making you faithful that your business is going to work?
I mean, I'm reminded, I remind myself that God is a father and he's a good father. And I think coming from that place of understanding God to be like that and having that relationship with him, I trust that he will look after me. And it doesn't mean that I sit back and don't do anything. You know, I put the work in and I do what I need to do. But having done all that I can do, I then need to just trust him and just allow him to, you know, do what needs to be done. It's funny because sometimes I strive in different ways, and then a client will come from a completely different direction that I wasn't even looking in. And I feel like that's like God saying, look, leave it to me, like, do what you've got to do, but ultimately I will put the bread on the table. I will provide. I'm Jehovah Jireh, you know, and it's just having that trust in who he is as a good father, really. Yeah.
I feel like I've done this I've done this in the wrong order, because I like to normally end, as I said, with the 3 pieces of advice, but you keep making me think of other questions to ask, so I'm not going to end just yet. Give it another few more minutes. In having that faith, when you have, and I'm sure that you must have those days where you're kind of like, this is really difficult, this is really hard. How do you, and I guess it's kind of 2 questions in one. Is it your faith in God that pulls you out? Is it your faith in yourself? Is it a combination? What are the strategies that you employ to get out of those, I guess, I don't want to say days, but I've run a business before, and even when everything is going fantastic, there can be that one time where it's distress and ruin, and it can be difficult to get yourself out of it. And how do you get yourself out of it?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, this has just come to me like this second, because when you're asking the question, I was like, oh, I'm not sure, but it's just come to me. Gratefulness, being grateful for the small things. And I mean, like, the small things, but actually they're big things, like waking up, you know, having health and strength, not living in a war zone, like just little things like that. If I wake up and I'm grateful and I thank God for these things that I have in my life, it puts everything into perspective, so that I'm not stressed out about, oh my goodness, like I can't do my email footer or whatever, and just, you know,
That's stressing me out, by the way.
you know, like things just kind of fall into perspective when you start with gratefulness and you literally write down or just list out the things that you're grateful for in your life. Then if things do go wrong, you're like, it's okay. Take a deep breath. Like, life is okay. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
I need to listen to some of that advice. I am that stressed. It's not going in the right direction. The font is wrong. No, take a deep breath. I'm alive. It's true.
Yeah.
In 10 years' time, where do you envision yourself and your business is? Your business is?
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm just going to speak it out there. I would love to have like maybe like 3 to 5 clients a month with my coaching. Different personal brands that I'm working with, because I love that, like keeping that fresh, working with people. With my Arbonne business, I'd love to have a team of, I don't know, like 50 people on my team in the health and wellness and beauty. And then with the Bloom Collective, I'd love there to be regular meetups for mums and also just women in business, like different workshops, a mentoring program where people can, women can find a mentor in the industry that they're in and connect with each other and just help each other be the best that they can be, really. So I'd love all those things to be thriving, and just enjoying life, being able to travel and see my daughter and maybe future children doing well in whatever they're doing, supporting my husband, family and the church, and being healthy and alive.
I will find this video in 10 years and find you. And you can say I did it and I exceeded that even. And I think speaking it into existence is just step one of achieving that. And I think it's an important step in doing, and that's why I like to ask that question. If people want to find out a little bit more about you and about what you do, how can they do that?
Yeah, so you can go to my website, which is beckyshandy.com, so BECKYSHANDY.com. Or you can find me on Instagram, which is probably my most active social media platform, at Becky Shandy. And then also on Facebook, Becky Shandy Coach. So facebook.com/Becky Shandy Coach. Yeah, that's the best ways to find me.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. I really enjoyed our conversation and I wish you every success in the future. And I'm sure I will be in some way part of not making the success, but viewing and being involved in whatever it is that you do, because I'm really passionate about especially the Bloom Collective stuff. So
thanks, Samia.
I look forward to watching you bloom. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel so that you can find out first each week, because I'm trying to get these out each week now, when a new She's the Boss interview is going to be released. And I've really enjoyed this. I've really enjoyed all the ones I've done up until now. If you are a woman in business, whether that means you've just started or you've been in business for several years and you want to take part, please do get in touch. You can email me at hello@genusec.com. Thanks for watching.